Hello and welcome to the Caribbean. This is an overview of how to set up the multiprompter as an external display and have it therefore be able to, let's say, use it for a teleprompter script or just for lecture notes, and be able to have the webcam from the monitor, the webcam from the multiprompter, be able to be used as an input to a Zoom meeting where you're presenting possibly a PowerPoint presentation and having that webcam image also show up on the screen. So it's actually works really straightforward, and you just need to know a couple of tricks, as is always the case. So and this laptop that I'm recording this on is nothing powerful, out of the ordinary or whatever, so the video display opportunity here is going to work for any setting. So this is Windows 10 based, and I'm going to go and open and come up to the settings tab right there you can see on the lower left, and clicking that opens up the system. Actually, it opens up all of the Windows settings, and I'm interested in the display. So under System, you see the display, and this is what we're going to be working with right now. So we're in the display settings, and if you see right now, this image here, it shows 1/2, so it's recognizing already that there is something plugged into the external monitor, but it is like many cases with using the multiprompter, you're actually just using the same exact image on the multiprompter display as would be the laptop display, but we want to actually split that up and do more. So if you come down here and you see where it says multiple displays, and then duplicate these displays, well, if you pull that down, there's one, and this is the one we want: extend these displays. So you see now you have display 1 and 2, and something is going to happen here. As soon as I hit apply, it's going to sort of go in and reconfigure things. And if I say keep the changes, then what happens is it ends up recognizing that I have my, actually this is an important point, and this has already been set up by me, that my multiprompter display is on the left hand side. In my little desk setup I have here, I have the laptop on the right and the multiprompter on the left, and this arrangement here is very significant to keep track of, because you can actually choose which side is which. This one right here would have the multiprompters on the right, and that I'm going to explain more in just a second. It makes a huge difference in keeping your head straight about which way your cursor is going. And so I have the multiprompter on the left, and by the way, the reason why this screen is bigger here is not physical size but number of pixels, and so my laptop is smaller, and this is that's how it goes. So if I come down, I say extend these displays, and I do apply, it is going to apply that so that even though you can't see it right now, let's see here. Okay, when I cross this, see, this is the number, this is my laptop display, and sort of in your mind you could think about the cursor going all the way around the surface of the laptop. It's just the little icon of it right now, but the thing is, when I cross over to the multiprompter, it's going to come out of the right hand side of the multiprompter display and go across, and that's what you have to have happen. And I prefer you can actually, the graphics are pretty interesting. If you wanted to line up the base, you could have it be that the cursor would go straight across the bottom and come out, but I like it kind of where it just comes out even. Okay, that is like so much enough said for that, but it's really important to understand that the whichever your external display is, which is the multiprompter, needs to be on whichever side here, the same as it is on your physical setup, so that you can keep track of where the cursor goes, because the cursor gets lost in a big hurry if you have it backwards. So I'm going to hit apply, and then what I can do is come up here just to verify this, and I can do identify. And that little identify shows, you can see the number 1 here, and what you can't see because it's not screen recording it, but on my multiprompter display the number 2 shows up. So we have accomplished the setup that's required. By the way, do not, if you're like, see, this is right now highlighted the number 2, and you do not want to make it your main display. You want to keep the number 1 display being the laptop, and this is all very good. And if it's the first time you've ever done this, it's pretty cool to realize that you actually have now twice as much real estate. So it will allow us, when we're in the Zoom program, then to be able to share screens differently, and we'll see how that works next. Okay? All right, so now that we have the extended display set up correctly on the Windows computer, so we're going to have the chance to operate on 2 different displays. It's going to be now time to go in and open up Zoom, and I think what I'd like to say is it's probably good to look in this. Okay, so what I just did was I just clicked the sort of the Zoom operating panel, which is like the startup panel, I guess you'd call it. It's already been loaded by virtue of me going into my browser and going to zoom.us and having an account, and so here we are. But there's a couple of things in settings that are gotchas, okay? And I want to particularly point out this one here, which says use dual monitors. Do not check that. The dual monitors that's been set up in Windows with the display driver is going to do what we want. If you use this is going to make everything totally weird, and it actually won't match what I'm showing. So just don't click that. Don't go looking around for settings and think you should do that. And I think that's actually the only one that's in here. I think up in video, you can see, by the way, there I am, hi. It's going to show the Logitech camera, and you can do it in 16:9 widescreen and capture HD video like I am, but I'm not seeing anything else in particular that should be pointed out. The main thing was under general, and this thing about dual monitor. I got burned with that, and so nobody else should have to. Okay, now the next thing that's actually really important when you want to practice this, if you are the presenter and you're looking to do this work, is to be able to see what would basically be like the people on the other end getting it. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start with video. And so there we are, and you can see up here, there's a meeting ID. There's also a place where you can invite people by email, but here's what we're going to do. We are going to acknowledge the fact that you can take even a little smartphone like this and download the Zoom. It's called, in the Apple store, it is called, I guess they call it the App Store. It's called the Zoom Cloud Meetings. And so what I've done is I've loaded an app that says, this one says start a meeting. Oh, it says start a meeting at the top, but right here it says join a meeting. And so all I did was just click on that icon on my collection of icons. And so I'm gonna do this. Join a meeting, and the meeting ID is 825. By the way, you'll never see these numbers a second time. They keep changing. 825 674 674 459, and then it says join. And I am pretty impressed with how this all works. And there I am. I just rang in, and let's see here. I do want to, by the way, here I'm going to mute my, quickly I'm going to mute the microphone on this guy so that my Apple microphone doesn't get in the way of all this. And even though that, and I'm turning on the speakers. Speaker off. Okay, we're safe. Now, here is this meeting happening on this iPhone. Okay, you can see, oh, that's a reflection of the multiprompter in there, the older version of the multiprompter. That, anyways, I'm just going to place this kind of like down on the side, and you wouldn't really do that while you're let's see here. You know what's happening is we're recording the screen from Robert's iPhone, and we don't want to do that. We want to go back to this. I just double clicked on me up there, and so it's a little heady getting this straight, but it's not like having a plane full of people you got to make sure are going to be safe. Let's see. What I want to do at this point is just acknowledge I have a camera down there that's going to monitor what I'm doing, and then I'm going to stop and take a breath. Okay. All we've really done so far is opened up the meeting room and had somebody join, which is Robert's. It's Robert's iPhone. So in order to be able to do what we're going to do, we're going to go up here to, this says gallery view, and then there's also one called speaker view. So let's acknowledge the fact that that's like that. And I'm going to turn this down some so that my other sound isn't talking back to me. When you're going to do this part about having the script on the multiprompter and the presentation on what's going to be sent out to the people, let's just look for a second at the screen share capabilities and recognize that this is desktop 1, and that would have been the same thing as when we did the setup of the external monitor in Windows. And so this is desktop 2. And I want to be able to present from desktop 1. And so I'm going to share the screen of desktop 1. And I'm going to pretend then that I have a PowerPoint presentation here that could be, let's see here. I just, we're totally going to pretend. So I'll do this and actually swap that. And so, well, what you're seeing right now is on the, okay, this panel of images is, I've got multiple images because of this little section here that has more than one. If I go to the small or the large by itself, that's fine. And you can also adjust then the size you'd like. And if you're going to be, and I'm looking down on my screen of the iPhone right now, and I'm aware of the fact that this image is not showing up. And I know why. It took a couple days to figure that out, and looking at tech support and so forth. But so you come under, so this little pull down menu that happens when you're slide sharing, and come over here to more and come down to, by the way, we'll stop off at hide video panel for a second. If you, it will make that disappear. The one we were just looking at will disappear. So show video panel makes it come back on. And then, so since this is being recorded, do you see how that works? I do hide video panel, that makes it go away on the screen I'm sharing. And I want to show the video panel, and I'm showing the one that is me not multiple ones. That image you just saw of my hand, that was me pointing at my iPhone down there. And so you can, okay, double click on that. That makes it turn into be the solo presenter. And the reason why it's not showing up on the participant's screen at this time is because you have to click. Let's see here. What I'm going to do maybe is show you. I can't really do that, I guess. Right there, the image, you can see there's a little thumbnail. That's the just the sort of the group presenter thing. But my image, this big thing up here, is not showing there. But I'm going to make it larger so it'll really show up pronounced. If I come to more and optimize share for full screen, it takes a minute, and what it's going to do is load that video image. And you see how now I'm there, and I can, if I move this to some other part of the screen, it's actually showing up. Okay, this is the key to the whole operation, is knowing how to set the slide share. Let's put that down. It's a huge help to be able to basically monitor what's happening, like as if you were one of the clients on the other end. So you could then take and let's I'm going to minimize this PowerPoint presentation for a second. I'm going to actually probably best if I stop sharing and went to my because you're seeing the entire thing on the Camtasia recorder. I'm going to pretend then that this PowerPoint, or this Windows based Microsoft Word document is actually a script from a teleprompter script, and so I don't have a teleprompter loaded in here. But the way you get this stuff to work when you're doing these multiple displays, you got to be able to grab the taskbar, right? I'm supposed to be able to grab it. If I minimize it, can I do that? And then push it over there? Yeah. Okay, so here's what's going on. I can, let's see. You won't be able to see this, but I've minimized it so I can grab the taskbar panel, and I'm just this is the way you get the program or the document onto the other screen. And by the way, I've thought about doing it where you could see it half and half, and it really isn't how you want to do it. And so let's get this over to my multi-prompter screen, and now we're going to share from the gallery the image from the iPhone, and I'm going to show you that over on it's the multi-prompter monitor without the multi-prompter, but I've got it so that it's set now over on the other screen. Okay, and the way I did that was just by grabbing it and sliding it over there. So now you could actually look at that script, notes or whatever, ultimately be looking at the webcam because it's right behind it, and have the presentation that is on this screen, which is going to be on this screen as soon as you would actually share that screen. So you do the share screen. Notice actually again right here it says the video thumbnails are minimized to optimize full screen video clip screen sharing. Well, what we got to do is go and come back. So it's already optimized for full screen video clip, but we have to go, and every time you click off of that screen, you're going to have to turn this back on. So in the middle of the presentation, it probably wouldn't matter, but there you are, and I can see down on my iPhone still. Then I'm back, my image is there, and I think what you'd want to do now is figure out where you have the choice to put it anywhere. I wouldn't put it right in front of the controls for the other guy, but whatever you want in doing a PowerPoint presentation, you could do it now, because and you see you can just scroll through all this, and I think that's really cool. I mean, granted, there's some refinements to be done, but this is the basic technologies that are needed. And I've always actually wondered what it would be like to give a presentation where you were looking right at the webcam, which is right there, and you were in the center of the presentation, and it's be the first time anybody ever probably has done that. But normally what we're used to seeing is little tiny, which you can do it that way. And by the way, when you click off of it, all the other stuff goes away. You can put this wherever the heck you please and build your presentation. The reason why I'm horsing around like this is to remind you that you don't want to be having the words that are on your document to be getting blocked by this image. Okay? So if you think about setting up extended display, sliding the teleprompter, if it's going to be, in your case, PromptDog, slide it off of the main screen and onto the multiprompter, and then be able to set up the camera like we've shown. And remember that you have to have the optimized share for full screen video, or your webcam won't show up when you're sharing the screen on the other end. But it's there it is. I mean, it's really actually pretty cool how that all works. And I know you have an iPhone, so you could do the same sort of a verification. And by the way, there is, whatever that delay is, it's probably less than 2 seconds. Google Hangouts used to have like 20 or 30 seconds. This display delay is pretty, I'm actually really impressed with Zoom across the board. And this display, the delay really doesn't matter on the other end, because your lips are in sync with your face and it all syncs up. It's just when you go into this optimized share for full screen video, it has to back off and be able to buffer the video a bit, but they do it pretty darn lickety split. So that's that, and I think it will end at that point. Okay, so, and by the way, if you're going to then want to end them, you're going to just be able to practice with what's being shared while you're sharing your screen, and know that you can, even when you are sharing your screen, you do have control over what's on it. So, so there, like Microsoft Word could be, the PowerPoint's here, the Microsoft Word is over on the multi-prompter screen, and by the way, I just pulled it back, and I'm going to send it back over there, and we're all set. Okay, that should be enough to get you started. I think so. And well, anyways, Sophie's over in the sun, and I'm saying goodbye. Hadn't been too concerned about the right lighting or whatever. This is mostly a matter of getting the setup going. So we're going to stop the slideshow, and we're going to end the meeting, and we're going to end the meeting for all, and say thank you, God. Take a deep breath, and the rest is for the next round.